Disclaimer: the following narrative is based on open source reports and public claims.
The intensity of attacks is rising, but what's really changing is the logic behind them. This is no longer just pressure on the front line. It's an attempt to reshape the entire balance of the battlefield. Strikes are layered, not always massive, but consistent and deliberate. The goal is not only to destroy, but to force defensive systems to operate beyond their optimal capacity. When pressure is applied continuously without pause, even strong systems begin to lose efficiency. Ukraine is now in a position where it must not only hold the line, but adapt constantly to a tempo set by its opponent. Targeting patterns reveal something deeper than routine military operations. Supply routes, logistics hubs, ammunition depots, and coordination nodes are being hit repeatedly. This is a strategy focused on breaking continuity. In modern warfare, outcomes are rarely decided by a single decisive battle. More often, they are determined by which side can keep its system functioning. When supply chains are disrupted, the effects spread outward. Delays turn into shortages, readiness begins to drop, and eventually, frontline resilience starts to weaken. This is pressure that doesn't always show immediately, but builds over time. The result of this layered pressure is a shrinking space for maneuver. Ukraine is increasingly forced into a reactive posture. Every incoming strike must be answered. Every gap must be sealed. In this kind of environment, the ability to take initiative becomes limited. And in large-scale conflict, initiative is critical to shifting momentum. When one side is constantly reacting, control of the conflict gradually shifts, not in a single dramatic moment, but through steady, incremental change that becomes significant over time. Beyond battlefield dynamics, there is another layer of pressure that often goes unseen: systemic fatigue. This goes far beyond physical exhaustion on the front line. It affects the entire war structure. Equipment under constant use demands more maintenance. Logistics networks must compensate for ongoing disruptions. Command structures are forced to make rapid decisions with incomplete information. This type of fatigue doesn't appear suddenly as a collapse. It builds quietly, reducing the ability to respond quickly and effectively. In this context, attention turns to NATO. Political support remains consistent. Commitments continue to be expressed. But on the ground, what matters is not just commitment, it's speed and relevance. In a high-tempo conflict, timing is critical. Assistance that arrives weeks later may lose its impact if conditions have already shifted. This creates a gap between expectation and reality. And that gap is becoming part of the conflict's dynamic itself. At the same time, NATO's position is far from simple. Every decision exists within a broader strategic framework. There are escalation risks, political constraints, and long-term calculations. Deeper involvement could accelerate change on the battlefield, but also increase broader risks. Holding back preserves control, but risks losing momentum. This is a strategic dilemma without a fast solution. And in situations like this, caution can easily be perceived as inaction. While strategic decisions are being weighed, the battlefield does not pause. Strikes continue. Pressure remains constant. Ukraine is forced to maximize every available resource. This creates an environment where efficiency matters more than volume. Every system must perform at a higher level with the same, or even fewer, resources. In these conditions, adaptability becomes the defining factor. Not just who is stronger, but who can adjust faster to changing conditions. The most significant shift can be seen in the control of tempo. This is often invisible, but deeply decisive. In recent periods, that tempo appears increasingly dictated by incoming pressure. Ukraine is operating within a rhythm it did not set. In the short term, this can be managed, but over time it adds strain, not just operationally, but psychologically. Sustaining defense under constant pressure is far more demanding than operating with initiative. What we are seeing now is not just an increase in attacks, but a shift in how pressure is structured and sustained. Ukraine is facing a more complex environment, where every decision is made within narrowing margins. At the same time, the global response is still moving cautiously, adjusting to evolving conditions. This situation remains highly dynamic, and developments can change rapidly depending on strategic decisions made by all sides. If you want to keep up with this conflict through sharp, direct analysis without the noise, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Because here, we're not just following events, we're trying to understand where they're heading.